what are we talking about here?
Skipping ahead a little bit, he says, my last conversation with Madeleine Albright was just 2 weeks before she died. She was vintage Madeleine, sharp and direct. It was clear she wanted to go out with her boots on, supporting the Ukrainians in their fight for freedom and independence. She wanted to go fight. Her and Sean Penn. She was booking a plane ticket with Sean Penn. She was like, Sean, we're going to the front lines.
I wish someone had fulfilled her request earlier. They should have sent her over there in 2014. They could have used a helping hand at Donbass.
On her declining health, she said, I've got good care. I'm doing what I can. Let's not waste time on that. The important thing is what kind of world we're going to leave our grandchildren. Madeleine saw her lifelong fight for democracy and security as both an obligation and an opportunity. She was proud of her Czech heritage and certain that her people and their neighbors in Central and Eastern Europe would defend their freedom because they know the price of losing freedom. She was right about NATO when I was president and right about Ukraine now. I miss her so much, but I can still hear her voice. So should we all. That's not Madeleine's voice, Bill. That's the voice of someone who's just like, in a cage in your basement going, please, let me out. Let me out. I want freedom and security, please. I want freedom. It's like, Madeleine, I can still hear your voice coming through the air ducts of this mansion. Yeah. So, yeah, that's Bill Clinton on former President Bill Clinton on NATO extension. He did nothing wrong, folks. I mean, he was right then and he's right now.
Never been wrong about a thing. Choice of friends, anything.
That is very, very similar to Albert Fish's letters to the victim, victim's parents. That is sort of a similar deal there. Similar men too, actually.
It's true. We just have these these guys who get to be public serial killers for 4 or 8 years, and then they just get to hang around and taunt their victims afterwards.
God damn it! Oh my God!
It's like George W. Bush's paintings of all the troops that were injured in Iraq.
Mm.
I'm drawing this one as a clown, and here's me also as a clown. Okay, just moving on. The closings out today. Let's turn to domestic politics. Midterm elections, they're coming up, boys. And the pot is at a simmer now, and Democrats, they're looking around and they're going, hey, is there anything we can do?
Is there anything we did? This doesn't look good. What up? What? Come on, guys. Let's get some ideas.
Should we be doing something else? I don't know. We got to do something though. So, courtesy of Politico, we have an article here headlined: Democrats turn to their Gen Z whisperer as youth support wobbles. Biden's numbers with young voters took a staggering dive at the end of 2021, dipping lower than any Democratic president in decades. So, that's a problem. I like to think of ourselves as sort of Gen Z whisperers.
Certainly, I love whispering to Gen Z all the time.
I'm always saying, stop doing that thing you're doing. Stop making me feel old. Cut it out, gang. All right, so this Politico. They're turning to their Gen Z whisperer. Democratic senators had 2 charts waiting at their chairs when they arrived at a caucus luncheon in February. They showed youth participation in national elections since the 1980s, with 2 impossible-to-miss spikes, 2018 and 2020, when huge turnout among 18 to 30-year-olds propelled Democrats into power in Washington. These graphs led off pollster John Della Volpe's myth-busting tour on young people and politics across the top levels of the Democratic Party. Young people do vote, he told the senators, and they're not policy purists, snowflakes, or socialists either. Perhaps the most important point Della Volpe could make for that audience is that young voters are not locked up for Democrats. His pitch to engage and empower the 30 and under set comes at a uniquely perilous moment for the party. Democrats have faced brutal midterm climates and slim margins in Congress before, but the current iteration of the Democratic Party has rarely, if ever, been on such shaky ground with young people. Earlier this year, approval for President Joe Biden among people aged 18 to 30 hit depths no Democratic president had plumbed in decades. The mid to low 30s in Gallup and other polls. Barack Obama never dropped below 42% among that group in Gallup surveys. In some cases, the swing against Biden in 2021 totaled anywhere from 20 to 30 percentage points. He has since made gains in some polls, but is still on unstable ground. An alienated youth vote is an existential threat for Democrats in 2022. They backed Biden by a 25-point margin in 2020, voting at all-time highs. And in their hour of need, Powerful Democrats are looking for answers from Della Volpe, a 54-year-old pollster with salt and pepper hair who is not on TikTok.
Well, I will forgive this guy's youth and inexperience, kind of on the young side for that side of things, but we'll see what he has to say. I want to say I'm finally doing it. I am going to go out on an insane limb here, a fucking insane limb, but I am confident in my predictive ability and also the ability of the audience and you guys to forget I said this if I'm wrong. I do not think that Brandon will do historically bad or even as bad as 2010 in the midterms. I do not think that. One, I think that like the collapse in polling among younger voters, as we've said, like inevitable, because if a group of people see the federal government help them for the first time in their life ever, and Brandon's the guy who takes it away, of course they're going to fucking hate him. That's inevitable. That was always going to happen. But it reminds me of when people would say Trump's unfavorables were worse than Hillary. It was, I could see the assumption he's going to lose to Hillary based on his unfavorables being higher, but not really. People don't measure like, oh, I hate this one more than I hate that one. It comes down to a number of things, and I just do not. I do not see like a significant group of under 40s going out of their way to vote for Republicans in the midterm. I still think Republicans take both houses, but I do not see that. Also, poll today that I saw, interesting, that like 70 something percent of Americans like think that higher gas prices are Putin's fault. I mean, the type of numbers that you would get in 2001 with a different adversary. I think that bodes very poorly for the world in the future. And I'm always skeptical on issue polls. But I kind of, between that and between, I think, like the shorter cycles, the shorter culture cycles that we live in, and the propensity of Republicans to like overreach and freak out because you keep having to up the ante with culture war. I kind of don't think at this moment in April it is going to be that bad for them in November.
I mean, it does make you wonder where the hell Republicans are going to be in fucking November when they're already at like 11.
I'm saying,
shit. Like, Jesus Christ, like this does not play. I mean, yeah, it works for your people, but like, it really does not appear as anything other than like mental illness. But the thing is, they don't have to vote Republican, and I don't think they will. They just have to don't vote.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like the real question is, will the Republicans be so